All right, welcome back to another video. How laziness is not really the problem. Most people who feel stuck in life are not lazy at all. They think constantly, they worry constantly, and they plan constantly. What they're experiencing is not a lack of effort, it is a neurological pattern that has been reinforced over time. To understand why people repeat the same life, the same habits, and the same mistakes, you have to understand how the brain works. So the brain is not designed to make you successful. It is designed to keep you alive, and the survival is based on familiarity, not progress. Okay, so now let's get into it. Okay, so how the brain prioritizes safety. The human brain operates on prediction. Anything familiar is interpreted as safe. Okay, anything that you know, anything that you do, your brain likes it. It's safe. Anything unfamiliar is interpreted as potential danger. So anything new that comes, your brain doesn't know it, which means it could be danger. Now, this process usually happens automatically and subconsciously. When a person lives the same routine for long enough, even if that routine produces stress, dissatisfaction, or failure, the brain still categorizes it as safe because it is known. So you're getting this pattern that anything that you do that your brain knows is familiar, which makes it safe. Anything that you do that's familiar, your brain thinks it's safe. Okay, so that's the main key idea. Okay, this is why people remain in situations they openly dislike. The brain does not evaluate quality of life, it evaluates risk. It's made to help you survive. It doesn't care about anything else. If a pattern has not caused immediate harm in the past, the brain resists changing it. Okay, so why do people stay in the same life then? Once a behavior pattern forms, it becomes efficient. The brain prefers efficiency over improvement. Okay, because changing behavior requires energy, uncertainty, and discomfort. Repeating behavior requires very little effort. So over time, repetition straightens the neural pathways. The stronger the pathway, the more automatic the behavior becomes. So this is why people say they feel stuck when they understand what they should do. Because anything they're trying to do, the brain is like, this is not the same. This is weird. This is uncomfortable. I don't want to do this. Okay, because the behavior is no longer fully conscious, it is executed automatically. Okay, so habits are not decisions. You got to remember this because most daily behavior is not the result of decision making. It is the result of habits, okay? Because habits allow the brain to conserve energy by reducing conscious effort. So once a habit forms, the brain executes it without questioning the outcome. That's why when you create a habit, it's so easy to do. You brush your teeth, you go to the bathroom, boom, boom, boom. It's so easy. You just do it. It doesn't even matter no more. Okay, and this applies to productive habits and destructive ones as well. So when you create a bad habit of not doing your bed, of not doing your laundry, letting it stack up, that becomes a habit, which makes it easier, which your brain likes, so you keep on doing it. Okay, so if a person wakes up and follows the same routine every day, the brain does not ask whether the routine leads to growth. It simply runs a program. Because how the hell does your brain know doing laundry, doing not doing your laundry and letting it stack up is bad? It doesn't know that. As long as you're physically there chilling, that's all that matters. Okay, because why comfort zones are misunderstood. The comfort zone is not about comfort, it is about predictability. A predictable life feels safer than an unpredictable one, even if the predictable life is unsatisfying. So, once again, you have to understand that your brain doesn't know things, it knows feelings. Okay, if once again, if you don't know your bed, if you don't brush your teeth, your brain doesn't know that it's bad, right? It just, you think that it's bad, but your brain, as long as you're chilling, physically chilling, then it doesn't matter. That's why your brain lets you do it. As a matter of fact, when you're trying to go and do an uncomfortable habit, like for example, I don't know, doing your bed every day, even though if you don't do your bed, when you're trying to do your bed, it feels uncomfortable, which means that it's making your body feel weird, which means that your brain thinks it's in danger. So it doesn't think it's in danger, but it doesn't like it. So it tries to not make you do it. because it's not a habit. It's not something that you do. I hope you're understanding the pattern right now. Now, the nervous system prefers consistent stress over uncertain improvement. This is why people avoid opportunities that require change, exposure, or risk, not because they're incapable, but because uncertainty activates that threat response. Okay, fear is subtle. Fear does not always appear as panic, more often appears as avoidance, okay? So procrastination, distraction, overthinking, waiting for the right moment. This is all fear. Fear doesn't mean you're scared or crying, oh, that. No, 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 no. It means it comes in different forms, it hides in different boxes. Okay, these behaviors are not logical delays, they are protective mechanisms. So, everything that's happening, don't think that you're something's wrong with you, something's bad. No, no, no. This is your brain. This is how you survive in this world. If you don't think, if you don't, if you're not waiting for the right moment, all these things, as bad as it sounds, also helps you in other ways. So don't think that it's just all bad. These behaviors are not logical delays. Once again, they are productive mechanism. The brain reframes fear as reasoning. So why does knowledge not create change? Understanding a problem does not automatically change behavior. Everyone knows everything, but that doesn't mean they're going to change. Knowledge exists in the conscious mind. Habits exist in the subconscious nervous system. This is why people can explain exactly what they need to do and still fail to act. The nervous system prioritizes emotional safety over logical improvement. Like I'm telling you, if you don't want to do your bed, you don't want to do all this stuff, it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. So your brain doesn't like feeling uncomfortable. So it tries to not make you do it. So without behavioral interruptions, awareness changes nothing. You can know everything in the world, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, and motivation is unreliable. It's like you're taking a shot. Motivation is just emotional energy. It is temporary and reactive, and motivation increases when discomfort becomes noticeable. It fades when discomfort returns. Okay, so this creates a cycle of starting, stopping, starting, stopping, starting, stopping. People wait to feel motivated before acting. When motivation fades, action stops. This is why motivation based changes rarely last. It's like 3 a.m. motivation, bunch of bullshit, right? So discipline bypasses emotions like a lock. Discipline does not rely on emotional state. It removes decision making from behavior. So disciplined action occurs regardless of mood, energy, or confidence. This is why people always say the whole thing of discipline. This is why disciplined people are progressive. Even when they feel unmotivated, they do not negotiate with their internal state. So you have to remember when you think when you're putting all these pieces together, the whole game of being disciplined is doing something when you don't feel like it. Because you don't feel like it does not mean that you shouldn't do it. Why do you not feel like doing it? Because it's not something that you normally do, so your brain does not like to do it. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, or that doesn't mean you actually don't want to do it. It's just your brain telling you not to do it because it's something you don't do, which makes you feel uncomfortable. But this is where discipline comes in, because you do it regardless how you feel, because how you feel is useless because your brain is just trying to protect itself. Do you know what I'm trying to say now? They do not negotiate with their internal state. They just do what they have to do because they realize, oh, I don't feel like doing it. Doesn't mean that I don't feel like doing it. This is my brain telling me, oh, since I don't do this regularly, I shouldn't do it because it's going to affect me. You know what I'm trying to do? Ego and identity maintain the pattern. So identity reinforces behavior. If a person identifies as undisciplined, unconfident, or inconsistent, the brain resists action that contradict that identity. So change threatens identity. Okay. So threatened identity activates resistance. This causes unconscious self-sabotage, which progresses followed by regression until the familiar self-image is restored. So if you identified as undisciplined and you're trying to be disciplined, that means you're trying to change, which threatens the brain, which doesn't like it, so you don't do it until you fully change the image. Then you're going to be that image. If you don't, you're going to be the other image. So see how the whole game of discipline works now? Real life application. People say they want money, but do not change how they spend or work. People say they want confidence but avoid situations that create discomfort. People complain about the life but repeat the same daily routine. People know what to do but they delay doing it. Especially this one. People say they want confidence but avoid this. How many times have you went to go do something that felt uncomfortable and then you felt so good after? And for some reason you were able to do it more and more because your brain was like, okay, this is fine. So this is why you have to be in a discomfort situation, because discomfort just means you haven't done it. So when you do it, your brain adapts to it and you're able to do it more and more and more. So this is why you have to be in discomfort situation. You see, it's just like a game. The problem is not lack of information. The problem is avoidance of sustained discomfort. So why most people never change? Change requires three elements simultaneously: awareness, discomfort, and consistency. And most people experience one or two max. So they become aware but avoid discomfort. They tolerate discomfort briefly but lack consistency. Or they attempt consistency without awareness and just burn out. Just be doing shit. Sustainable change requires all three. And this is pretty rare. So how change actually happens. Begins with behavior, not emotions. Okay, so small action executed constantly restrain the nervous system. So it doesn't matter how you feel. If you do your bed one time, and the next day you do it again, the next day you do it again, you're gonna start to keep doing it again and again and again and again, because it becomes a habit, which means your brain thinks this is something you do, becomes a routine, happens easily then. Okay, so small action executed right. It said that. So discomfort becomes familiar. Familiarity becomes safe. New pattern forms. So this is why you put yourself in discomfort situations, because then it becomes familiar, which makes it safe, which makes a new pattern, which means you can do it again. So identity adjusts after behavior changes, not before. So remember the final conclusion. All right, let's go over everything again. People stay stuck because their brain is not doing its job. It is protecting them from uncertainty, but protection and progress are not the same thing. Okay, once the system is understood, repetition is no longer unconscious. The question is no longer why change feels difficult. The question is how long a person is willing to remain when they are now that they understand how it works. Okay, so that's basically starting out. So just remember, this is like a game. It's like a game. It's like I'm cleaning my room, right? Say you don't clean your room. Say you let everything stack up. You let everything stack up because it became a habit. So when you're trying to clean it without letting it stack up, it's uncomfortable. So you don't feel like doing it. Why? Because it's not something that's part of your routine. Because your brain, it's unfamiliar. So when you start doing it, it becomes a routine. Then it's no longer familiar. Because look at the system. Something that discomfort, you keep doing it till it becomes familiar. And then familiarity becomes safe. And then safe makes a new pattern. And that's it.